Rachel, in this level 3 challenge, we are talking about something that a lot of people want to try. And I think a lot of people are embarrassed to admit, but we're going to give you a step-by-step how-to guide to anal sex with your partner. Are we ready?
I'm so ready. This topic makes me so angry and so excited all at the same time because it's exciting because it's wonderful, it's pleasurable. No matter what your gender, you can participate. And it makes me so angry because it's so misunderstood and it's so stigmatized and there's so much fear around it and unknown, and it doesn't have to be that way. And so, yeah, I'm very passionate about this topic.
Similar to some other challenges where we just kind of go straight in and squash something. If you identify as a straight male, does having anal sex where you're the receiver make you gay? Nope. It's fine. Everyone's doing it.
The idea that a sex act determines your sexual orientation is the most bizarre concept to me. I don't understand where that came from. Also, vulva owners for decades have loved anal play. And like that just seems to be left out of the conversation. And what about lesbians? Like many humans love anal play, and it doesn't have anything to do with what your gender is or the gender of the person that you're playing with.
So let's get into it. If you are going to try this challenge and you're going to have anal sex, maybe for the first time, or maybe you're coming back and you didn't have a great experience before, where should this couple start? Where's the kind of first step?
Yeah, well, don't start with penetrative anal sex. Like, please don't. Unlike the vagina, the anus or your butthole is not just ready to expand and lubricate itself and like go to town. It's a muscle. So think about before you work out, if you have not worked out for a while and you just dive right in, you're going to pull a muscle. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to strain. It's going to, lots of ick. Your butt's kind of similar. So we need to stretch, train, caress, excite, and we have to use so much lubricant.
Yes.
Like, if you think that there's enough lubricant involved, add more. You just want to add as much as possible. So the best place to start is actually with either a finger, a tongue, or a small butt plug.
Yep.
This will help you get used to the sensation of something both going in and out and also sitting still. And when a butt plug is in, it actually helps with anal training, meaning that if, let's say, here, point A is you've had nothing up your butt, and point C is that you want a penis or a dildo or something larger up your butt. There's a journey from here to here, and butt plugs of increasing sizes can be part of that journey. So can fingers, one finger, two finger, three fingers, right? These all feel different. And so can your mouth and tongue. And you may find that you love external stimulation of your butt and not internal. You may find that you like internal and not external. You may find that you love all of it. So yeah, that's where I would recommend starting.
And just to recap, because I know that this video is going to get watched a whole bunch, it's to start slowly by opening yourself up physically with a finger, a tongue, or a toy. The toys that we have at Cake that are designed for this is we have a butt plug that has 3 different sizes. There's a small, medium, and a large. It's literally designed to help open you up. And then Tush Cush is designed specifically to cushion your tush. It combines 2 different ingredients in it to make sure that it eases discomfort and pain and it increases lubrication. The other piece that's really good to know is the silicone lubricant that we have, silicone sex lube. That is ideal for anal sex because the molecules in your skin are smaller than the molecules of silicone. So silicone doesn't absorb into your skin, it stays on top of it. That's why it stays super, super slippery. That's great for anal sex. You do have to wash it off with soap and water because it never absorbs into the skin.
Yeah.
So making sure you have the right products and tools and open yourself up, that's step 1. Another helpful tip and trick is that Tush Cush and the plugs, along with the vibrating butt plug, it's called Buzzy Butt, those are designed to work together the pure silicone lubricant, silicone sex lube, I wouldn't recommend using that with a toy because it can eat down or wear away at that toy. So silicone sex lube, I personally use when I'm having partnered sex with my partner. And then I use Tush Cush and the toys together when I'm either getting ready to have partnered sex or I'm just enjoying myself.
Yeah, and you can really do either, right? I love Tush Cush for the whole ordeal. Like I don't even need to change it. I also am someone who becomes very accustomed to a certain feel. And so I love how Tush Cush feels physically. And it sends a message to my brain that's like, oh, you're doing this now. And so changing that up isn't needed for me. And for other people, you may find that you enjoy the silicone lubricant better. But yeah, silicone on silicone is generally a no-go.
So now let's fast forward. You've been training yourself, or you're in the act and you've eased into opening yourself up and you're ready to start having partnered sex. What are some tips or tricks to begin having partnered sex?
So this anal sex requires a lot of communication. And you may be thinking, okay, Rachel, but you said everything requires communication. And you are correct. That is true. Everything does. And anal sex requires extra because the person that is doing the penetration cannot feel if you are in pain or discomfort as the person receiving penetration. And the likelihood of something being ow, or can you move this way, or can you slow down, is going to be greater with anal sex than it is with vaginal sex if you're someone who is used to having vaginal sex. There are different positions that are going to feel differently. You know, laying on your back and receiving penetrative anal sex is really different than being on all fours and receiving penetrative anal sex. So it is so important that both people involved communicate. When something hurts, it is not supposed to hurt. It may feel uncomfortable. It may feel weird. It may feel like you have to poop because that is what our brain associates with something coming out of our butts. But once you get past that, you will start to learn what feels normal and a little bit of discomfort versus what is actually painful. And when something crosses into painful, you want to stop. And that's why I recommend not using any of like the numbing creams out there. Please don't do that. It cuts off your ability to say this hurts. And when something hurts, you don't want to do it. You're going to hurt yourself. And if you can't feel the pain, that is not going to be good. And the other thing is to recognize that just like with any other type of sex, there could be a mess. It may get messy, whether that is with tons of lubricants or maybe a little bit of, poop. That's okay. It's okay. We can just name it. It is okay. Now, I'm sure all of you have heard like nightmare stories. That does not happen. Very like the kind of myths out there, we can set those aside. What can happen is a little bit of mess. And so if you're someone who is really mess adverse, you can put down a towel, you can put down a blanket that is meant for sex and play. And just have some wipes nearby. This is what like sex wipes are great for, is cleaning up mess. And just acknowledging that with your partner, I think beforehand can be really helpful too. Like, hey, I'm nervous about the fact that there could be a little bit of a mess here. Like, how would you feel if that happened? And to hear your partner say like, oh, not a big deal at all. I'm just like really excited to be here. Then you can kind of put your mind at ease and stay present.
And we'll link to kind of how to prep and clean and feel comfortable from a mess perspective. This video is more about the actual act of anal sex. And I want to go back to what Rachel said early on is communication being key, because slow and steady really does win the race. If you're communicating with your partner, slow down. Okay, good. All right, hold it there. Okay, continue. That's really important. And then my personal recommendation is I like the receiving person, we call them the bottom, if they're going to have anal sex being penetrated inside them, having them be on top where they can lower down onto whatever item might be going into the anus. That's really important to me because then that person controls the speed and they can pause and stop if they need to at any point and let kind of the butt muscles relax so it feels good. Again, just going to re-say what Rachel already said. Pain is not a part of this. It might feel uncomfortable as your muscles relax, but pain means stop.
Yeah. Yeah. With any type of sex, pain means stop. Pain is not a part of any type of sex unless you like pain and are searching for pain. But even with that, you're not looking for this type of pain. This type of pain is telling you something is off, something is wrong, your muscles aren't relaxed enough, it's hitting something that it shouldn't, like just pause. It feels really good and it's amazing. And it's a really freeing experience to release these shame-filled thoughts and just lean into what feels good. And again, it doesn't matter what your gender is or what your partner's gender is. You can both explore this. You can both try the butt plugs. You can both try, licking each other. It doesn't matter what your sexual orientation or gender is. Just enjoy the pleasure and connection.
So let's pretend now it is a couple that identifies as a straight man woman couple, and maybe the guy wants to have anal sex with his partner, and this whole video makes sense for them. Let's reverse it. Let's say the guy wants to have penetration inside of him by his partner.
Yeah.
How does that work? And talk, I mean, 101, go into, I'm sure Rachel's gonna talk about strap-ons, we don't make them. Tell me what the best one is. How can it be reversed for those couples?
So here's the good news is the starting path is exactly the same. So the butt plugs, the fingers, and the tongues is still where you want to start no matter what. And so if you're interested in that, try that first and see what you like, and then go from there. Then you can get up to a point where if you are both interested in a heterosexual couple, the vulva owner can put on a strap-on. What happens is there's this like circle in a strap-on that's like a metal disc or a rubber disc, and that holds in a dildo. So a dildo that has a base at the bottom, it'll say like harness compatible, and you literally feed it through it's almost like a cock ring that holds it in place. And then you put on the harness, and all of a sudden you as a vulva owner have this extension of your body that essentially acts as an erect penis. Now, the biggest challenge with this, aside from the mental piece of our society and stigma and all of that, is that you cannot feel anything because this extension is silicone, glass, whatever material you're using. Usually it's silicone. So you have to be extra communicative because there is only one person that is feeling the physical sensation of entering in and out. It's not both people.
I think that's really important, that communication being key. And Sloan's study will come up again and again. Can you give the people watching this video one or two of strap-on brands that you would recommend?
My favorite is Sport Sheets, hands down. They make a variety of different harnesses for things that feel in line with your gender. So they have ones that are a bit more masculine. They have ones that are a bit more feminine, right? Like how we define these things, again, is up to you. Some of them are more like boxer briefy, and then some of them have like lace and are thong, and have like garter belts. They have so many different varieties. And then you can also get your dildos from the people that sell the harnesses. My favorite dildo company is called Uberrhyme, and they hand pour dildos using this like incredibly soft silicone, and it is the most similar feeling to a penis that I have ever seen in a harness compatible dildo.
That's fantastic. Go slow, communicate, and have some fun.
Have a blast.